Let's do a quick chazara. The Gemara says in Chulin, Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Beis, not bar not remains parv. This is not the case in Easter. If it's also already, the Shach points out in Sivkot Aleph, not bar not is all also. What's the story with Bishul and Sli? This is a machlokas Rishonim. Halacha l'maisa. To cause a not bar not in order to eat with the other thing is also according to everybody, not only to cook it, even to put it in a hot and a fleshik plate where you're going to eat it with milk, you're not allowed to do it. It's a tazis of cotton dalit. If it was already cooked, so the Machaber says you can eat it with the other thing, can eat it with the milfix, and the Ramah says you cannot. If it was already mixed with the milfix, then according to the Ramah, you don't have to throw it out, you're allowed to eat it. However, the Shach, quotes a marshal, this is all by bishul, but by tzli, that you don't have a medium of water, you should throw it out. I think the Bari Shulchan says, Aruch HaShulchan was Mekel, the Bari Shulchan says, Amachmer Tov V'Lov Bracha. Okay. Even according to the Ramah, that you're not allowed to mix it with milfix, you're allowed to eat it off a milfik kalim. This is all if the kli you cooked in it was a ben yomo. But if it's not a ben yomo, even according to the Ramah, you can eat it with milfix. You're allowed to put it on the plate, which is not a ben yomo, or cook it in a fleshik plate in a ben yomo in order to eat it with milfix. That was a machlas achronim. The Chochmas Adam and the Bari Shulchan were machmer, and I heard the name of Moshe Feinstein, he was mekel. Then we had two major machlokas Rishonim. One is they're not barnat in food, not through a kli. And we had a machlokas not barnat. What happens when it's cooking? Cooking in the pot and the milk or the meat falls on the outside. Is that not barnat? You say it goes in one shot. That I think is this what we learned last time. Now, please look over here in Sima Tzadihei in the Taz Beis. What does it say in the Shulchan Aruch? If you cook an egg with meat, even though there's a klipa on, even though it's in a shell, you can't eat it with milfix. Right? That is the machaber. Says the Taz over here in Sivkatan Beis. He's quoting a Rashba here. V'afilu b'klipa, sheklipas habeitza bebirur minukevisi. An eggshell is porous. She'adam mevashla, if you cook an egg in a shell, timtza habeitza atzma tzvua me'oso tzeva. If you boil an egg in wine, you'll see the egg will be red inside. I never tried it. Even though the eggs left in the cholent are brown, I don't think it necessarily it's for the color of the cholent. It might just be because it's on the stove so long. It can be checked out. You can leave an egg without the cholents. They have the eggs in the, you ever see eggs with the cholent?
Yes.
Okay, they have it, okay. L'chein osru chachamim, therefore chazal asered beitzes efroach. Therefore, if you have an egg with a chick inside, right, which isn't little chicken, right, and you cook it, I assume the chicken's dead, right?
Why we do it dead or alive?
It's cruel to do it alive to cook.
I mean, in terms of Easter, it's...
No, it wouldn't be, okay? I just want to be, I don't want to be cruel, okay? Okay. The baits are with an efroch inside. Okay? V'hitiru beitza asura. The halacha is if you cook a non-kosher egg with food, you don't have to worry about giving taste. Shazu, it's halacha in Siman Peivav. Shazu poletas tzir shel efroch. This, whatever, the tzir, the liquid that comes through is that of the chick, which isn't kosher. V'zu lo eno poletas at tzir bi'am, and that somehow doesn't give any taste. Ad kan l'shon rashba. Okay? So the point is that what? It's porous. Umevia Beis Yosef. Says the Taz, Vitzorach Iyon, Mimashakasav Ramah B'Simud Peivav Sifei. It says over there, De'im Abeitza Nikuva, if there's a hole, take a pin and put a hole in the eggshell, Dina Kaklufa, that it's like it is peeled, and then even without the chick, it'll be awesome. So what's the difference, he says? What's pshat in the Ramah, correct? Whether it has you put a hole in it, it's porous anyway. All eggshells are porous anyway. Upoled shapir, and it gives off taste. And still, if it's a non-kosher egg, he doesn't say it asers. It only gives off tzir, not any mamoshes. The maishna, what's the difference between neka b'tolada, a neka from nature, or shelo b'tolada, not from nature, but was man-made. Okay? And it's not a kasha. You can't ask a kasha on a rashba from a ramah. Okay? But the two are not ole b'kaneh chod. Okay? V'i lav peh kadosh to the Rashba. If it weren't to the holy mouth of the Rashba, nearly says the Taz, the ein neka bebeitza toloda. There is no hole by nature in an eggshell. Elish bolei o poleit, the taste goes in and out. Derech ha-klipa, through the klipa, midaber shu mamish, but something that's mamoshes. And therefore the chick goes through. Okay? V'tzorach iyan. Can I just have 1 minute? Okay? So you have 2 days here, whether or not eggshells are porous, correct? Now, this is my own 2 cents here. What's he explaining here? This whole thing is going on the machaber, right? What does the machaber say? If you cook an egg with a piece of meat, it's mamish fleshik. You mix it with kutach, it all goes in the garbage. Now, l'chora means there's no heter of not bar not, correct? So I understand that the Taz himself holds, like the Deya in the Pischei Tshuva, that it falls on I assume that the eggshell was like the pot. So the Taz himself holds that if it goes in one shot, in or out, so then there is no heter of not bar not. Therefore, you cook the meat with the egg, even though it's an eggshell, it goes through in one shot, and there's no heter of not bar not. However, the Rashba holds there is a heter of not bar not, even through a pot and through an eggshell, and that's why over here you have to say that the eggshell is porous, and therefore it goes straight through. That's how I understand this Taz, but that's my own 2 cents. The machlokas Rashba and the Taz is the machlokas, the 2 days at the end of the Pischei Tshuva. Yes, sir. There's not like through a pot. Pot is not porous.
But there's not supposed to Taz that says it's not, doesn't go through, and then
Taz says that it goes through, but it's like a not bar not. Right? Taz says it's not porous, the taste goes through.
and according to the Rashba, it's usher even if you peel the egg and put it into a pot.
That's certainly also.
I mean, I peel what's the case? I cook it like in the shell.
The case over here, the egg in the eggshell here. A whole egg with a whole eggshell surrounding it.
Where do we want to say not burn out when I peel it? And
What?
where do we want to say not burn out?
Wait. You take it with the eggshell and you put it in the cholent.
Yeah,
With the eggshell on it.
right.
Is this not bar not or not? According to the Rashba, it's okay because according to the Rashba, it is not okay because eggs are porous. And according to the Taz, it's not okay. They both agree it's not okay for different reasons. One holds it's not okay because there's a hole there. And one holds it's not okay even though there's no hole there.
It's not okay to.
Eat it with cheese. If you mix it with cheese, it goes in the garbage.
Generally, my mom would say that if not, regular pot, it would be okay. Because there's
According
egg,
to the Rashba.
Right, but because the egg is porous, that's why.
Right. Okay. Again, that's all my own 2 cents. Yeah.
Isn't that Taz also saying that it's porous? Or was he saying it's wholly there?
No, it goes through the taste. The same way milk goes, spills on the outside of a pot. It goes through the
It's
taste.
actually going through the taste.
Yeah, okay. Yes, sir.
Why is us there when they say about one?
And then I never understood properly. If it's in I don't know. You can look in Pei Vav. I never understood it properly. Okay? Don't know what that means exactly. Not strong enough to taste, don't know. Okay, let us now continue in the Machaber here. Excuse me, in the Ramah, I apologize. Here we are. I told you we started learning your Yudea that if you have all your variables correct, but you're missing one point, you can mess everything up. This is a perfect example. You know the halach is not banat, benyo eno benyomo. But now comes another variable. I'm picking up where the dalet of the Pischei Tshuva is. No, a little before that, where the Yud Aleph of the Groy is. Yud Aleph of the brackets of the Groy. V'chol zek shamacho eino dover charif. Everything we said until now, if the food you're cooking now is not sharp. Aval im haya dover charif, but if it is sharp, kagon shebishlu dvarim charifim bekli shel basar. You cook something charif in a fleshik kli. You saute onions in a fleshik pan. Afilu eino ben yomo, even if it's not a ben yomo, the pan. O shedachu tavlim b'modoch shel basar, or you crushed spices in a fleshik crusher. Im should be im bishlo, not lach. Im bishlo b'chalev. You cook it with milk. Oser afilu di'eved. It asers even be di'eved. Ad de'ika samach neged abasar blum. Unless you have shishim against the amount of meat that's balua in the onions. Skipping the parenthesis. Umikol makom lo nikra macho lo mikra macho do b'chariv. It's not called sharp. Mishum ma'at tavlin shebo, because of a little bit of spices. Rakim kulo do b'chariv. Only if the whole thing is totally charif. But ruba kukulo. It has to be 51%. Now, this thing that there's a double chumrah over here. The Shach will point out. One is there's no heter of not barnat with a dover charif. I cook a potato in a ben yomo pan, right, a ben yomo pot, and mix it with cheese. I'm allowed to eat it according to the Ramah. I don't have to throw it out. But I cook something charif, there's no heter of not barnat. And then there's another chumrah here. Not only if the pan is a ben yomo, but even if it's not a ben yomo. Because charif taste resurrects pogum taste. Look over here in the Shach Zayin. Afilu eino ben yomo. The churfe, the tavlin, the sharpness of the spices, and mashlei keilu iser ben. It makes the iser as if it's here, not like a nat barnat. Umashvilei ben yomer. It also makes it a ben yomer because the common siman tzadi vav. Okay, let's stop right here. I'm going to do the rest of this a little afterwards. Then it says ches ad deika samach v'lo amrina. We don't say the tavlin spices kibbutz the tama avidi, since they are for taste low b'tel, they're not bottle. Kevan nein isur machmas atzman, they're not inherently also. Please look in Siman Tzadi Ches first. In Siman Tzadi Ches, it says, I have to find it. If you see in Sif Ches, there's like a long Ramah there, right? There's a Ramah in Sif Ches, in Tzadi Ches. You see where the Lamed of the Shach is in the Ramah? There's a Lamed of the Shach there? V'lochein. V'lochein melech v'tavin midvarim davidu l'taima, something that's made for taste. Im asurin machmas atzman, if they are inherently osur, ain't b'telim b'shishim. They're not b'atal b'shishim, because shishim is only because it's mevatel the time. But here, since it's so sharp, it's not mevatel the time. Now, please now look in Simon Kufay at the very end. Sif Yudalid. Melech abolu amidam. You have salt saturated with blood. Kagam melichas basar, like you cooked, you kashered meat with it. V'nosnu b'kedera, or you put it in a pot, the salt. Oshenasnu b'kedera basar meluch v'ladocha. After you kasher meat, you have to wash all the salt and stuff off. You put it in without washing it off. Im yesh samach negan melech, you have shishim against the salt, mutter. What's the chiddush? Hagah. Ava pisha melech adayin no sein tam b'kedera, even though you can still taste the salt in the pot. Me'achar she'ena melech osur machmas atzmas, the salt is not inherently osur. Ela machmas dam she'b'secho. It's only also because of the blood inside of it that's got absorbed. And since whatever absorbs the blood can't be worse than had it been purely blood. Like whatever the thing that made it also can't go, because the blood would be bato b'shishim, can't go there. And a nesa osir min osir. The salt that became also because of the blood can't be more chomer than the blood. So the point is that even if you hold chaticha nasa nevela, but it's not worse. You need shishim against what brings it there, but it can't be worse that as is more than shishim than the actual blood. Okay, so that's what it says over here. That the shach says over here that you need shishim against the against the whatever is charif, right? Okay, but you don't have to have shishim against all the tavla. You crush them in milchik crush because it can't be worse than the actual meat. Tov. Now let's back up to Shach Zayin. Okay? I did half first line. Now, it says, Ulekaman Simon Kuf Chaf Bey Sif Gimel. Nispar de Dafka Machal Atzmo Shu Charif Nasel Lishvach. Only the actual Machal, which is Charif, resurrects the pogrom taste. Avolo Mashri Lekder Rishvach. It doesn't make the pot Lishvach. What do you understand he's saying here? Tach, how do you understand this line here? Hello?
If you cook again with the pot, then there's no problem. It just, this food, which comes out, will be cooked 5 minutes later, some other food, it's not for it.
The pot is a kosher, right? Okay, let me ask you a question now. I have onions, okay? And I saute them in a fleshik pan, right? Correct? I saute it in a fleshik pan. Now the onions resurrect the taste of the meat, right? Correct? And now it goes back into the pan, because when it's hot, it goes into the food and back into the pan. So why isn't the pan fleshik the same way the onions are fleshik? Once they resurrect it, so... one second.
Isn't it all chumrah anyway? So I mean, why we think that would be double chumrah?
Okay, so I'll tell you, there are two ways of understanding it. There's a big machlokas achronim. I think it's a prima godam kiv eger. Let's assume in the onion, let's say, sauteed onion, there's no heter of not barnat. Let's say I cooked these onions now with something else, right? Did they make it fleshik or not? In other words, is the thing that it is fleshik, it's only as long as the taste is in the onion? Or do you say, even if you cook the onions with something else, wherever the meat taste goes, the onion taste goes, and prevents it from being not barnat again? So if you're makel and not shaila, it's okay, because it's only as long as it's in the onion. But once it leaves the onion, it's relegated again back to a not barnat. That what? I have onions, right? And then I saute them in a fleshik pan, and they're really fleshik, right? And then I heat up these onions with string beans. Are these string beans totally fleshik now, or are they not barnat? In other words, if I mix them with just the string beans, with the cheese, would you have to throw it out or not? It's a machlokas achronim. The Bari HaShulchan quotes it in Siman Tzadi Vav Osnun Vav. So it could be it's going like the Meko Shita there. It could be that's it. That's one possibility. The only thing is, his point isn't about not barnat. His point is about lishvach. So what happens? Let's say it was a treif pan. I sauteed the onions, right? And it wasn't a ben yomo. And then it went back in the pan. Now what? And then I cook something in that pan afterwards. It's only lishvach as long as it's in the onions, but it leaves the onion. It's also not lishvach. Is that what it means? I don't know. Now, the truth of the matter is, if you look, he has a cross-reference here. Tells you to look over here in, where is this? Tells you to look in Ayin Sham. Ayin Sham is Kuf Chaf Beis Sif Gimel. right? You look over there in the source. What does Ramah say there? Something totally different. I cook something charif in a pot. Pot's an innocuous pot. I cook something problematic. Let's say something not kosher, charif, right? In a kosher pot, right? You don't say what happens after 24 hours. So Ramah says no. Charif tastes balua becomes pogum also. It's only if you have something now charif, it pulls taste out and makes it l'shvach. But charif tastes balua in a pot becomes what? Becomes pogum like everything else. So it could be that's what it means. You have to fudge the words here. Look at the words here. It says, where are we here? L'kamon kuf chaf beid nispar davka macha atzmu shchorif nasa l'shvach. Avlo mashvi hakdera l'shvach. What? After 24 hours. You have to add something which doesn't really say in the more. So the first pshat fits better into the words. I just don't understand it. Second one, I understand the halacha. I just don't. The words here don't sound that way.
Why didn't you understand the first chat?
What?
Why didn't you understand the first chat?
Because I explained the first shot based on not barnat, right? But he's not talking about. He's talking about the shvach here. He says only the shvach when it's in there. It's mashma that it's only, unless you say also that it's only temporary the shvach, and once it leaves, but even though the onion tastes go with it, it's not the shvach anymore. I don't know. Don't know. Let's now look at the Piskei Tshuva Dalet. You with me? Avo im haya davar charif. You with me? Yes, no?
Yeah.
First of all, this halacha, davar charif, is different. If you look at the parenthesis, he quotes it from the Aruch, which is Yisur Eter, and the Tshuvas HaRashba. Let's go now to the Piskei Tshuva. Ayin b'Tshuvas Makom Shmuel. Simon Peitesh Yerach Harbe Listor Psak Zeh. He goes against this Ramah. The b'Tshuvas HaRashba Sham Lo Mashma Mini says you can't prove anything at Tshuvas HaRashba. And with Divrei Yisur Eter, Gam Kein Ein Raya. The Mash Yitzrach Samach Neged Kol HaTavlin. That when you crush the tavlin, a flesha crusher, and you cheat him against all the tavlin. It's not because of the reason the Ramah said that there's no het of naparan and dover charik. We're not going to be shown the ain kan rak beis no same time. It's only because there are only two no same times. There's no water. It's like it's lee, and he's machmer like the marshal. But if you cook something charif, you boil onions in a fleshik pot, I feel the dover charif is mutter. V'lo k'moshe medama harama midin bishul b'dvarim charifim l'din tav mishlidochen. Like the Ramah compared them. Then he writes, Umasik, the Emunah the Makom Shmuel concludes, the b'davar charif gomer, something which is totally charif, ein lozuz mipsak Ramah, you can't not follow the Ramah. You got to assume that there's no hetev not for now. V'yachar shekain parshat aminik, but that's the accepted minute. Avol makom sheish listabbing imikri davar charif. But if it's not, it's a suffix davar charif. Parentheses, come over borscht. Shnechleku ba'ataz b'silo, ukedoma, and similar things. Yesh lahatir, then you can be meko and not worry about this. Anybody British here? No. There's a noted rabbi in London whose son used to learn in this yeshiva. And we learned this. He says to me, "What is borscht?"
I was thinking about that.
What? You know what borscht is either? You guys know what borscht is?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
So I repeated it to his father when I mentioned. He says, that's because his mother is a yeki, and yekis don't serve borscht.
What is borscht?
It's something made out of beets. Go to the store and look at it. Personally, I don't think it's overly edible to begin with, but that's based upon your taste. Okay. Next part of the Pri Megadim. V'yesh listape, had the chorbe machalia, that which chorfa resurrects taste. Imu do rice, is it a din do rice, so midrabanan, so chom midrabanan. V'nafka mina lahaka b'sveika, nafka mina if you can make on a suffix, without all the cheshbon before. Varisi b'tshuvas knesses yechezkel shekasavu drabanan, ayin shom. Vayin shuvas avoni avi zikni, my grandfather upon him eros, hevi rai do rice. Machlok is rice drabanan. Shuv rishi b'tshuvas shivat zion. The low shayach bezeh klal amadin the rice drabanan. You can't start cleaning chagiras Dechech ochel yatim. Eat it and taste it and see whether it got any better. Try it out and just taste it. They came into Chazal, Omdu B'Zal Yisrael. Chazal tested it out. V'yadu b'davar charif mashri l'shvach. And they knew that it was mashri l'shvach. Pshita du doraisa. It's obviously doraisa. V'ayin mashri kosamnu l'kama and kufyud b'nidis v'ksveka shkein das agona b'kiv eger. Okay, so the out thing of this is as follows. The 2 parts of this Pischei Tshuva. One is the Dvar Shmuel questions this thing about there's no heter not by a dover charif, and says that the whole makar might only be where it's 2 knots and not in 3 knots. It says even though you can't be mekel based on what I said, but if it's a shavik dover charif, you can be mekel. Then he discussed this thing about dover charif resurrecting taste. It's the raisa drabanan. It's a machlokas. He pushes that is clearly a dindio raisa. Now, the Rama wrote over here at the end that it's not called a dover charif unless it's kulo charif or what? Or ruboka kulo. The Darkei Tshuva in Sivkotan Mem Aleph says this is not exactly meduyok, and it depends upon the thing. Let me ask you a question. Let's say you're cooking, and you put in 40%, that's less than a row of black pepper. That's not going to be charif. Hello? You put in 10% black pepper, you probably won't be able to eat it. Right? So, it's not exactly, he says this thing is not meduyok. That's number one. Now, you're going to ask me, I never know where you draw the line. I always tell the story. I used to be in Kiryat Shmona. I used to go to the yeshiva kitchen. I would ask the Moroccan ladies who worked there, is this charif? They tell me, it's totally bland. I would take one bite, and I thought my insides are going to be burnt out. So I don't know whether they're crazy or I'm crazy or what. I don't know. Don't know, okay? Used to be in the old days, they drafted even older olim. So a friend of mine got drafted with these older Gruzinim, Georgian Jews. So they used to all fill up their canteens with arak.
What?
You know what arak is? It looks like water. It doesn't taste like water. Okay. What's it called in English?
No, I didn't. I was just saying it's alcohol.
Okay. Anyway, now, important. The Pischei Tshuva points out in Siman Tzadi Vav Sivkot and Daled, and the Darkei Tshuva points out in Lad Meches. This is only if it's charif when it was made in the fleshik pan. For example, I saute onions or garlic, right? They become fleshik. But it's the same, I saute potatoes. And then I take the potatoes out and put it on the plate, and then I start pouring black pepper over the potatoes. That does not become fleshik. It has to be charif when it's in the pan, pulling out the taste. Now, l'ch'ora, one would logically conclude the same thing by treif. I saute potatoes in a treif pan, not a ben yomo, right? Not a ben yomo. And then I take them out and I pour black pepper. L'ch'ora should also be mutter. For some reason, there's a machlokas achronim in the above Pischei Tshuva and Tzimah Tzadi Vav. I don't know why it should be different. I just want you to be aware. We'll get to it in Tzadi Vav in the Pischei Tshuva. Certain things are harif at the beginning, but then they lose it. Let's assume you saute onions. You saute them in a fleshik pan, right? They become fleshik. Let's assume you saute them in a parva pan, and then you put them hot in a fleshik pan. That's not going to happen, because once you saute them, they lose their charif. And you have to check each thing. I'm not sure if you would saute horseradish, that would be the case. Okay, onions, it's clearly the case. In Pischei Tshuva, we'll talk about it in Tzadi Vav. Now, I sometimes wonder about the following shaila. I thought it might be talking about machlokas achronim or something in the Darkei Tshuva and Sivkot and Mem. Let's assume you're sauteing a whole bunch of vegetables together. You cut them into little pieces, squash and eggplant and all kinds of things, and little pieces of onion. And the whole thing mixed together, you throw into fleshik pan, right? Not a ben yom or whatever, even ben yoma, whatever the story is, and saute it all together, right? The whole mixture is no way charif, because the onions aren't that charif, right? So, right, it's a,
Onions aren't that correct.
you eat the whole mixture is not charif, okay? Now, the only problem is, let's say you look at the pan and there are 40 vegetables, little pieces of vegetable, but the onion, where it's sitting, it's, has its own place. So you say, you look at the whole, it's not like you have soup and you pour a certain amount of spice in it. So it's not charif after it's like the spice gets balloon mixed in the water. But here you have 20 little pieces of vegetable, but with the spot of the onion is, it's sitting on the pan. Do you say all the onions now are fleshik, and therefore you can't eat the mixture with milthix because b'diavad, which because if you mix, you have to throw it out because of the onion. Or no, you look at the whole thing together. I thought I might be telling a suffix in a darkly true second. If it happens, you can ask your competent local Orthodox rabbi. Tov ad kan in Sif Beis. Tov Sif Gimel. There's a machlokas, the Rabban and the Rosh against the Baalei Tosfos. Let's assume you are in those days they didn't have running water, so they have you heated water up in a pot, a big pot, and you're washing the dishes in it, and you heat up a big milthik pot, and now you are washing the fleshik dishes, and you didn't have fleshiks now. There's no meat on the plate, no meat or milthiks here, right? But everything is a ben yomo. In a big fleshik pot, a big milthik pot, you had boiled milk 10 hours ago, and now with these fleshik dishes, which you ate string beans and potatoes with now, also 8 hours ago, you had hot fleshiks on them. Okay? So both the milthik kelim and the fleshik kelim have no mamashas of fleshiks on them, but they are balua with ben yomo, milthiks, and fleshiks. So the Ramban and the Rashba say it's mutter here because it is not branat. Because what happens is the fleshiks go into the plates and come out, and the milk goes into the pot and comes out, and therefore whatever it mixes here is a not bar not. Look at the machaber here. Ka'arosh basar, you have fleshik plates, shehudchu b'yorach are washed off in a milthik pot. Bechamin, it's hot water, sheyad soledes poem, that it's yad soledes. Afilu shnei b'nei yomam, even though both the plates and the pot are b'nei yomam, mutter, it's mutter. Mishum dahavalei not bar not. No same time, no same time, deter. V'hu sheyomar, that's he says, baradish lahaya sham shumuk davuk ben. You have to be sure there wasn't any fleshik, actual fleshiks on the dishes. Remember, the first shach in the Simon says, when you take a pot to cook, you assume it's automatically clean. But when you're washing dishes, they're assumed automatically to be dirty. Remember that shach? Okay? If the actual is fleshik grease, then then you have to have shishim in the water against it. If you don't, everything is aser, right? Because then the fleshik taste goes into the milthik pot, or vice versa, and everything becomes treif, and it makes everything else treif. Okay? So first you have to mevatel the be'en with shishim, and then it becomes not barna. This is the shita of the Ramban and the Rosh and the Machaber. Now, the Baalei Tosfos argue. This is in Tosfos Chulin Kuf Yud Beis Amud Aleph. The end of the Tosfos starts on the previous Amud. It says even though everything is clear, there is no heter of not barnat. First of all, he says maybe the plates and the cleat touch each other and it goes straight from here to here, right? Now the halacha, yes, has to be explained. There's halacha we'll get to in Tzadi Beis. If I'm boiling milk in this pot and fleshiks in this pot, and they touch on the outside, and everything is dry here, it doesn't go mikadera the kadera without the water. In other words, if it would be wet, it would be a problem. If it's dry, it doesn't go mikadera the kadera without any water. If your milk spills on the outside of the pot, it goes through. If it doesn't go from metal to metal, or pottery to pottery, or copper to copper, or whatever it is, on the outside. Okay? So if the kli would be hot and would touch the pot, which is hot, but there wouldn't be any water there, it wouldn't go out the taste, right? But it could be once there's water, it enables it to go out without going through the medium of water. I'm not sure exactly. That's why this point is not 100% clear. One thing, the Baalei Tosfos Choshish, that the taste goes straight from the pot into the plate directly. So, and there's no not but out of heter. It goes straight into that's one thing. And then there's another issue over here. It could be not barnat is only into the pot, into the parv, and then later on it gets mixed into the milthiks, right? But here, simultaneously, at the same time, the milthiks and fleishes are coming out and meet. It's not like one and then the other, right? It's not like you put one and then you put the other in. It's coming out simultaneously, and that's what is the problem. So please look at the Ramah here. Ramah writes over here, V'yesh osrim afilu ein shumot davak behen. El imchad min akelim eino b'nei yomo, unless one of the kelim is not a ben yomo, v'blias kli rishon. V'oz kol akelim mutar, one's not a ben yomo, it's all okay. Because the one which is ben yomo gets a pogum taste, right? And the one which is eino ben yomo, so Mikra did its parv now, without any chumash rabbanon, right? So let's say the fleshik one is eino ben yomo. The milk then goes into the water, into here, right? But that's already not barnat. Once it goes into the water, and here it's a not barnat. It didn't read any actual fleshiks yet because fleshik is all pogum here. V'os kol hakelim mutarim. V'amayim no again by isur l'chatchila, which still sits throughout the water. Period. Avol im shneim b'nei yom, if they're both b'nei yoman, v'diach osam b'yachad, you wash them up together b'kli rishon, and the kli rishon are called osir. It's all osir. V'hachi no again. Ve'ein l'shanos. This is the meaning, you shouldn't change it. V'davka shehutchu b'yachad. You might have b'yad. It's b'yachad u'b'kli rishon. Avam hutchu b'zachar zeh. First one and then the other. O b'kli sheni afilu b'yachad hakol shor. Let's stop right here. Okay. Please look at the shach tes. Shnei b'nei yoman mutter. If they're both b'nei yoman, it's mutter. It's not barnat. Hainu b'di'evet. That's if you did it. Avo lachatchila, but lachatchila don't do this. Ein ladicham afilu machaber. You shouldn't wash them together, even if it's according to the machaber. Kamo shekosav machaber rachaim tofnun beis. That's hilchos hagos kenim erev Pesach. Diyesh lizorim lahagel klei boser klei cholav yachid. You can't kasher fleshik and milk the kelim together. Elam kein echam ye'ena ben yomo. That's one that was not a ben yomo. V'chein kosav atur lekama kuv chaf aleph. Imagio kli shal boser lachol b'cholav. If you're kashering a fleshik kli to eat with the milthiks, which we're knowing not to do in general, or if the other way around, it can't be a ben yomo. Because if you kasher it to eat it with fleshiks, you're going to do it in a fleshik kli, and if they're both a ben yomo, you shouldn't do it lachatchila. Bainu lachatchila. Okay, it's mutter kol machaber, don't do it. V'moya shuman davek bem os yud. Perish afilu harak shuman davek be'achamen. If shuman is only one of them, I'll call osir. It's all osir. Fish atam sheni miyad no same time in the tocham amashus. The second taste, meaning when it goes out of the kli, let's say in the milk, the kli goes straight into the grease. Lave not sheni better. It's not sheni better. It's like cooking a piece of fleshix in a milk pot. And then the kli will also touch the first kli, the nesar kli, and it makes the first kli also. Everything becomes also. Or you don't have to say that, excuse me, not that way. The shuman touches the kli, shuman goes straight into the kli, makes the kli also. The shuman nesar and everything else becomes also. Even if one of them were not a ben yomo, right? One of them. The shuman is on the eno ben yomo. The grease is on the eno ben yomo fleshik ones. Hakol aser. Why? Because it goes into the milk kli, which is a ben yomo, makes it aser, and everything goes aser. Plus b'chalav goes into the whole thing. If the shuman is stuck to the one which is a ben yomo, osu shu ben yomo is mutter, because only pogam case. But she'ena ben yomo, so it had originally milthiks, now it has fleshiks, right? It's also because you can't use it for milthik or fleshiks because it has the bli of both of them. Say Sukkot and Yud Aleph is just a maramakom. We'll stop here. Okay. What?
Why can't you be magil them from kli basar or potentially?
Because they're both. Because even though when they both come out according to the machaber, it's mutter, right? Nevertheless, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. Correct. That is it. The taste when in is a ben yomo. It's also after 24 hours. But if it goes in as a ben yomo, it doesn't become also. Zion?
Shach Zion.
Which part of it?
The two explanation chariots giving that after 24 hours are not valid or not.
You talking about the Kli? Which part of it? There's two parts of it.
Really said something that after 24 hours, I didn't fully understand Shach Zion.
I said the second shot was, if you look up the other Mara Malkum there, the halach is you cook something chorif in a pot, and say something not right, after 24 hours it becomes pogum. If something is chorif now, it resurrects pogum taste, but the chorif taste itself, bolu in a pot, will become pogum after 24 hours.
L'mashriach v'yer l'shavach after 24 hours.
What?
So he very wants to say l'mashriach v'yer l'shavach after 24 hours, but within 24 hours it is l'mashriach v'yer l'shavach.
Yeah, but I'm fudging it, because it doesn't say that there. I'm adding some words, which are missing.
Or
Once it leaves the actual thing, it relegates back to, I don't know, not Bernard or something. That was the other.